Hey everybody, Bob Chick back with the last rep, and look who we got fresh off the Olympia stage. What's up, Kev?
Hey Bob, what's happening, man?
Man,
Yeah, a couple days ago I was looking you in the face, walking off from the encore.
that's right, man. It was so. Let's dig right into it, man. Give me your. All right, so we get to the press conference. Let me get your thoughts on that.
It went good, a lot of love, man. Not a whole lot's changed. I think the everything kind of felt the same, in the press conferences compared to back when we
Sure.
would do them. So it really wasn't a lot of change there at all. A lot of familiar faces, new faces coming into the game, but I think pretty much everything was still the same.
Now, at the end of the press conference, you certainly weren't shy about it. You challenged who was it, Roden, I think, to a pose down or one of the
No,
guys.
it wasn't Roden. It started with Dexter.
Was it
Dexter
Dexter? Yeah,
started
that's
it.
right. That's right.
Yeah, Dexter had mentioned something about how many times he had beat me, and
That's
instead of me
right.
sitting there trying to defend myself, I said, well, let's try to make some fun out of it. Let's see if
Sure.
Dexter will pull his stuff off. Dexter's always in shape, you know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah.
So I think I kind of shocked him because I actually stood up and started unzipping my jacket and everything, and I don't think he really expected that.
Well, nobody
So
expected that. We haven't had somebody
yeah,
take their jacket off since I think since Gunther and Ronnie back. That shows you already how long ago that was.
oh yeah, but it's fun, Bob, and it's about entertaining the crowd, the fans, man. They want to see, they want to feel, the energy and some action going on. But I was glad, out of everyone there, I was glad that Cedric stepped up to the plate, and by him doing that, guess what? It gave the fans some excitement, and it added just that fire that we needed to that press conference because it was a love fest.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, listen, it was kumbaya and all that stuff, and which wasn't a bad thing. I mean, listen, we've had people at each other's in each other's face, obviously in the last couple of years, especially
Yeah,
with with Kai just a couple of years ago and Phil and all that. So it wasn't a bad thing.
right.
It was a very good,
Oh no,
positive way to start the
it
weekend.
really was. Yeah, it really was. And it put the sport in a respectful position. And the guys certainly gave me a lot of respect, and I really wasn't expecting that. I thought they was going to come after me as a competitor
Sure.
and at my throat, but they didn't. They respected what I had done previously and respected and welcomed me there. So it was really thoughtful and made me feel good.
Now, the Meet the Olympians, Thursday night, for those who don't know, they have a Meet the Olympians, which is a huge event. Thousands of people line up to come out there to see you guys and all that. Now, this was much bigger than obviously anything you've done previously at the Olympians. It's been expanded greatly over the years from Robin Chang and his fantastic production crew. How was your reception there?
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked when I went into the arena and just the whole setup, the stage setup, and how big the sport has grown. Bob, that lets me know that we're growing and certainly grown, and you could feel it. So many fans came out, and I tell you, the fans that showed up, I they're bodybuilding fans, but they don't look like bodybuilders. Back in the
Right.
day when we would have a long line of fans, it would be bodybuilders and women that worked out. They looked like they spent
Right.
their entire weeks in the gym. But now, most of the 90% of the crowd or 80% of the crowd, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have people who are just into health. They bring out the kids, they bring out the wives, and these are blue collar working people. From business people to regular bus driving people, and most of the fans that stood in line for me, they were, from college kids to chefs to just normal people. So I think it's great for the sport, man, to see it evolve like that and to take on a whole different life form. And I think Ben and Joe Weider will be really, really, really proud of where the sport is today.
I certainly hope they would, and we obviously have Joe and Ben in mind, obviously, with every Olympian. Like I just mentioned, Robin Chang, who you've known for many, many years,
Mm.
continues to do just a great service to the Olympia and the history of the Olympia. Let's fast forward now. So it's Friday night, and you go backstage at the Olympia to get prepped up, and at some point we're getting closer to the beginning of the show. And now
Mm.
people are starting to take their stuff off and on. What's your first thoughts as you see the other competitors, the other guys in the back?
Well, my first thoughts when I woke up, I mean, of course, you know, Bob, I knew that I wasn't where I needed to be, of course. But, you know, again, you know, I dedicated to this before I started training. And for me, it's about finishing. And without a doubt in my mind, I said, you know what, God, just give me the strength, give me the energy, because my fans is expecting to see Levrone from 2000
Right.
and me looking at my best. I mean, yeah, my upper body was great. But I knew in my mind, I said, you know what? I had some injuries that these people don't know about. So when I go out there, it's going to take more than Kevin to walk through this, because these guys are big, man. These guys are big, and I can tell you, compared to when I was backstage, the contestants are bigger. They carry a lot more muscle than what we used to carry. They're hard, you know, and what they're doing now is just a whole different technology than when we came along. You know, things have evolved as well in the muscle department. So when they were stripping down and I'm walking around and I'm looking, I'm like, man, I didn't say I was in trouble.
Right.
I didn't say I was in trouble. I just said, what did I get myself into?
You know, understandable.
So, yeah. Yeah, man. So, you know, God bless these guys, man. You know, but, you know, I had to follow through, and I followed through with my head up, you know, knowing that, you know, I'm nowhere near I was. But I tell you what, you know, whether I'm 100% or 50%, I'm still Kevin Levrone. Yeah. And that's something that no one will be able to take away from me. But I follow through for the fans. I follow through with the commitment that I dedicated myself through, and I had every reason to pull out with the quadricep situation and the pec situation, but I didn't. And I said, you know what, let me come out with the story later. And I did. But I can tell you, still, the welcome that I received was unbelievable. The fans, the support from the IFBB, the way Robin Chang laid everything out for me, everything was perfect for me to make my presentation. And if I could have brought the package that back in the day that I would have brought,
sure.
You know, I was in a great position to probably, you know, make a huge statement at this thing. But you know what? Whether you win, whether you lose, whether you don't place at all, you know, my message was I still impacted so many thousands and hundreds of thousands of people. And I just want to say thank you for your warm welcoming introduction to the stage when you called me out there, Bob. You know, you encouraged the people on. They respected me for what I had accomplished in the past. I got a standing ovation, thanks to you and the fans and everyone in the attendance. I mean, it really showed the respect that they have for me on such a deep level, you know. And it made it all worth it, man. I just thank God for the opportunity Robin Chang gave me, the IFBB and the organization gave me to go out there one more time and to do what I love doing, man. And it was really heart-wrenching and thoughtful. And I want to say thank you, guys. Thank you, Muscular Development. Thank you, Steve Blackman, and all the former IFBB pros. All you guys supported me, and it really, really meant a lot to me, man.
Well, Kev, and I do appreciate that. I also appreciate the fact that you did stick it out. Yeah, you could have pulled out a whole bunch of times, or just, you know, hey man, this ain't coming together. Or I got an injury. You didn't do that. You stuck to your word. You saw it through. I'm so glad you did, because I wanted you to get that Olympia experience. When you came out there for the first time. Now, again, we're talking a big difference, and you and I have been around since those days. When you came out to that arena and you got on that grand stage and looked out there, and Saturday night in particular, I'm skipping past the prejudging, but I want to get to the finals. And you saw 10,000 people out there. What did you think when you first got to the center of the stage?
It felt like, you know, when you're on that huge stage by yourself, the stage is big.
Yeah, it's big.
Know?
Yeah.
It's huge, and that's a lot of room to take up, man. And I can tell you, you feel all the energy from all the people staring at you. And it's never ending, because it goes past the lights that you see. It goes up, and I'm looking up like this, and I see the people in the box seats, you know, lit up and everything. And I'm thinking, man, I have to pose for all these people.
Oh yeah,
you know,
they're all looking at you, man.
I'm thinking, wow, you know. But it's not just these people. And then you suck it in. You think you got all those photographers down there, and then the judges are back there somewhere, and then you got the guys plugged in the back doing the live broadcast through Amazon and everything else. So it's so much, man. So much went into the production. But I got to give my hats off again to Robin Chang.
Yeah.
The sound company that he hired is awesome.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal, man. These guys just blew me away with the sound. The light show and everything that they had. You know, they even let me in the arena early to pump up the music. Mm-hmm. So, man, it just really as much as I wanted to be kind of like shameful, embarrassed, you know. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like a happy moment to suck up and say, you know what, it was all worth it, regardless if I was in shape or not. I did my best, and for that moment, it certainly was worth it. It was worth it.
Well,
so I want to say thanks.
And let's make no mistake, my friend. There was nothing to be embarrassed about. There's nothing to be shameful about. You came out there. You look very respectable. Listen, were you in the hunt, you know, up in the top 10? No. That's clear. You were the first person that knew that. But that's not what this was all about. This was about Kevin Levrone back on the Olympia stage at 52 years old, showing what you could do in just under a year. I mean, well under a year. And listen, you got a great ovation from the press conference. You got a great ovation from, you know, to meet the Olympian. Big long line that they was there all night long to see you.
It was great, man.
So I mean, it was a great experience. But I tell you, my highlight, and I remember some years back when our good friend Dennis James hung him up. The first thing he did, I actually caught him outside, and he says, "Look, I'm gonna call it a day, bro. This is my last show, and you know." So, you know, could you make the mention of it? I said, absolutely. Are you sure this is your last? Yeah, no, I'm done, man. This is it. I'm retiring. Okay. And he did respectable. But I sent him back out there, and, you know, I made mention that, you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Dennis James's last show. He's calling it a career, you know, 10 years on the Olympia stage. And the whole place got up on their feet with a standing ovation. And he says to this day, that meant more to him than his placing and almost anything else in his career. And I got the chills. Because it was so similar with yourself that you got done, you got a nice ovation, you know, and I kind of threw you back out there, and I just, you know, I wanted to say a couple of things to make sure. Well, I mean, this is what it was about, Kev. This wasn't about your appearance there at that show. This was celebrating
Thank you, Bob.
an IFBB Hall of Fame career, and I wanted to make sure to express that to the audience. And sure enough, of course, 10,000 people rose at her feet. Robin clicked them lights on because he wanted you to be able to see all the people. You know, in attendance. So, but it was if that didn't give you chills in that audience, I don't know what.
Oh man, it was amazing. I mean, it looked like a whole sea of people that just went, and I'm thinking, man, they did it for me. You know, they did it for me, and yeah, that was the part that you know what, at that point, Bob, I knew. I said, you know what, it's okay. You know, it's okay, and it was great, man. I never had that before, you know, going a routine or anything. And it was just a lot to take in, and it was a special moment. And it let me know how much the sport cares about us as athletes, and how respectful they are for our hard work, man. And I want to say, again, you know, winning, if I had won, I don't think it would have meant more to me than what I actually experienced this weekend. You know, because you win that trophy, and that trophy collects dust. And long after you're gone, you know, for me, this memory will last a lifetime. You know, what do you want to be remembered as when you walk off the stage from the Mr. Olympia? And this really did it for me, man. It was a nice farewell, you know, exit.
Oh yeah. Well, and you know what? There's no better way, Kev, to go out. You did it with class, you did it with dignity, and you did it to 10,000 people on their feet at the Orleans Arena on Joe Leader's Olympia stage. So yeah, you can't write your ticket.
No, man.
Any better than that. Now that's going to bring me to.
If I could go back and say one thing, I would have loved to set something at the microphone. You know, you know what I mean.
You should have came over, man.
Yeah, I was thinking, man, but you know, I was like, I know we were pressed for time.
Yeah.
You know, because this thing was all webbed in and timed in. So I didn't want to step out of my boundaries and do anything that wasn't already in the program.
Certainly we could have done something that, you know, if we wanted to. I don't know. To me, I mean, yeah, in retrospect, maybe, you could have said a couple. But I tell you this, I mean, you almost didn't want to ruin the moment. Was so great.
I know, right?
It was almost, it was honestly more fitting that you just, the hand went up and you walked off and the stage got dark. And to me, it was just kind of a nice, great ending, what I mean, to that.
Yeah. It was
but now,
great, man.
so I got to put the journalist hat back on. And because it was a great Olympia all the way around. I mean, it really was.
Yep. It was, man. It was awesome.
2 months before the show, I asked you, what are your intentions? You says, I'm doing the Olympia. That's it. One show and I'm finished. Ain't no comeback, no nothing. That's what I'm doing. 2 weeks before the show, you said, well, you know what? Hang on a second here. Looking pretty good. I'm not going to rule it out, but, let's see what goes on.
Right.
Kind of left the door was open. Then we did the Olympia. Now, 2 days after the Olympia, I'm going to ask you again. So, where are you at now? Now that we're post-Olympia, you fulfilled your wish, and getting on that Olympia stage and all that. Is this something that you want to climb back in a couple of competitions, or have you made a decision either way on that, or where are you at, Kev?
Right now, I'm going to continue to train. Mm-hmm. I like the way I'm looking. I'm going to continue to train. My goal, Bob, is I'm going to have a few more PRP treatments on my knee.
Sure.
I just started it like 7 weeks ago. I had my last one and I kind of rushed it. So I'm going to get that taken care of, because let me tell you, if you guys out there do have tendonitis problems, this PRP is a new way that they can go in and take your blood and draw out the blood to capillaries and get new some new blood to capillaries to fire down there, and it actually heals you up pretty fast. So I'm going to do that again. And now with time on my side, I'll be able to sit back and train for 6 or 7 or 8 months, and I'm not going to stop my training, man. If I can bring the legs back, which I think I probably will, because I'm not rushed for anything now.
Sure.
I'm going to cruise it, take my time, train smart, and if things come back the way that they probably could come back, then there's not a doubt in my mind, 2017, I would jump back on stage again.
Oh, really? Well, I was.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because I didn't think you would go that way. Actually,
I would, man. I would, because I know what I've accomplished in this short period of time, and I know what obstacles I had to overcome, and I know where I need to be moving forward, and I have time to get there. So I'm not going to stop my training, and I have to think this way, because if I don't, then I actually will stop training. So
gotta have that goal.
Yeah, I'm going to give myself 7 months down the road,
Okay.
And if I look really, really good, and if the wheels pop up, to where I'm squatting 500, and then bad boys come back, and I feel good, at least I'll be able to have people look at me now and walk around with my legs hanging out, so the fans can see it, and everybody, there's nothing to hide. I can say, hey, chick, look at my legs, man. So
yeah.
I got a few guest posings lined up, so there's nothing to hide anymore. And I can only go up from here, you know what I mean, as far as the size and the quality and everything that I need to do.
Sure.
And I'm going to take my time and do that. And I would like to certainly step on stage and do it one more time.
Well, Kev, I know you got to go, so I'm going to let you out of here in just a minute. You got Spain coming up, obviously, so no rest for the Maryland Muscle Machine. You'll be back out there and doing the business of bodybuilding. Your supplement company, which is based out of Poland, obviously your boys will be out there. Czech Republic right after that. But I want to get
I'll be emceeing the Prague Pro Show.
That's right.
So I'm looking forward to emceeing that show. This will be my first pro show that I'm emceeing. So Bob, do you have any tips for me?
Oh boy, tips. Yeah, work on your. Work on your accent. The Czech Republic people don't speak English too much, so
I know, right?
I've been there, yeah. So, you know what? Be yourself, bro. Best advice I could ever give you. You know what I mean? Listen, you got all the charisma in the world. You'll do just fine. But before I let you go, give me your take on the results of the show. Put the fan cap on now. Take the competitor cap off. Put the fan cap on. Your thoughts? Phil Heath winning. Sean Dexter. All the crew up in there.
I think Cedric should have placed higher.
Okay.
I had Cedric placing higher.
How about Phil winning number 6?
I think he deserved that. Yeah.
He's
certainly
impressive in person. I mean, And I say
he
that
is.
because he
He
catches
is.
a lot of flack out there. And, of course, now all the comparisons are going to start. Now he's tied with Dorian Yates. You got Arnold ahead of him. You got some pretty elite crew there, obviously, Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney. He
Yeah.
catches a good amount of flack. He is so complete from head to toe. It's really something. I mean, the amount of muscle he carries, his separation and all that. Again, you catch some of that on camera, but you catch a lot more in person, man.
Yeah, you catch a lot more in person. You walk up to him and you look at him, you size him up, and you don't find any weak parts. And no one's perfect, but he's pretty much close to it. And then another thing, like I said, these guys carry a lot more muscle.
Yeah.
Than when we used to be back there.
Hey,
I mean, trust me, I was back there and I saw him up close. So
speaking of that,
these guys are different.
How big was Big Rami?
Oh, Big Rami was huge, man. He was
ridiculous.
so impressive to look at him. Like, it's almost like, wow, what is that? You start saying, look at that. What is that?
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. They should sell like VIP tickets for certain level VIP tickets for the fans to actually have a little seated area back there.
Oh, in the back.
So they can sit back there and watch these guys pump up, because the fans
cool.
don't get to see that part. So Robin,
right.
Hopefully you'll see this. Steve, maybe you can talk to Robin to where they can build a little fan section so the fans can seat and pay extra money to watch these guys pump up and be up close.
Something. Sure.
That would be great, man.
That's a good idea. I'll submit it to the boss.
Because back there it's such a different experience.
Sure.
You see everybody, you see them. It was the coolest thing, seeing Phil Heath with his headphones on,
Right.
And the first thing that Phil takes off is his bottoms,
Yeah.
and he's got his headphones on and he's got the tank top on and he's going through his thing, going through the movements, and you see these hamstrings and calves and everything hanging on. You're like, good grief, So it's just pretty impressive, man.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, you were pretty impressive yourself, my friend. Congratulations.
Thanks,
on your comeback, on your appearance on that Olympia stage, and more importantly, I think this pretty much solidifies, not that there was a question before, just how much the fans love Kevin Levrone.
Yeah, man, I just want to say thanks to fans, thanks to Steve. Flex Wheeler really reached out to me a lot. Thanks to you, Bob, and also Dave. Dave, you know what, Dave, man? Your comments after the show really hit home for me in my heart, and I want to say thank you a lot. To David and the whole crew over there, Bob, and you as well, man. And I really appreciate it, man. And everybody, Chris Cormier, all the guys out there during my area that supported me. Sean Ray even came around and said some good stuff. So thank you, Sean. No hard feelings, man. And I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. And I thank God that we're involved in an industry that continues to support us and respect what we've done for each other.
All right, Kev. Well, be in touch, my friend.
Right.
Safe travels over to Spain, and we'll catch up with you back on this side of the pond when you get back, all right?
All right, Chick.
You got it,
all right, man. Peace.
I'll see you.
All right.